Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the fourth sector. This is the most raw, fresh race review you will ever get. The race literally finished half an hour ago.
Something like that.
Yeah.
45 minutes ago, maybe.
They're interviewing Christian Horner right now behind me. I would be intrigued to hear what he's got to say, but I will save that for another time. So we're not going to have all the information that we would have if the notebook was out by now and so on and so forth. But we're going to just give it as raw a reaction as we can to what happened. Of course, I'm joined with Joe. Joe, I thought we would start with our predictions. That is something that we like to talk about to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, you just searched them up, didn't you? You just found them from the last pod.
Yeah, I, funnily enough, chose Sainz pole and a Charles Leclerc win.
One of those was close.
One of those was very close and almost arguably was nailed on. It was a freak lap. For it to not happen. And then the Charles thing, not really even close. I think he led a few laps. I also said Ferrari would get a 1-2.
I didn't do that.
No. And then we both laughed. Well, you laughed and you said, "When will we learn?"
Yeah.
And I think I've learned. I think this is it. I think I'm not backing Ferrari anymore. I've had enough. I'm never backing Ferrari ever again.
But no, we both just thought there's no way. There is no way they don't hold it together, and they just didn't hold it together.
Dude, they just didn't. They just didn't, and it's just. I keep thinking.
What did I go for? I went for I talked about a wet quali and went for a max pole.
Max pole.
Which was as far from the session as when you come to Q3. I predicted he'd be at the top, and he was at the bottom.
Yeah, and then you went for a Charles win as well.
Which is also 5 places off.
Yeah, I think you picked your wild card was a Lando podium.
That was not going to happen, was it?
No, P7.
He started P4 though.
Yeah, it was the McLaren looked really competitive on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah,
but as we've noticed this year, I think there's a very clear difference in race pace compared to one lap pace this year. Last year, it was fairly ominous. You know, where the teams are finishing in qualifying is generally where they would finish in the race. There was quite a set order. Whilst you find, Aston Martin again today, starting, Vettel went out in Q1.
Yeah.
As I think Lance Stroll made it through to Q2, but didn't make it much further.
Yeah. I think he was the bottom finisher in Q2, wasn't he?
P10 and P11. So it's this race pace thing is definitely different this year. And it does have a fun element.
And especially when you've got Max Verstappen, who's winning race after race after race, not actually doing too well in quali, regardless of some engine issues that he was having this weekend. He's not nailed on for pole ever, really, is he, this season? The one lap pace is not.
It just, it seems to be, well, as we say, I guess, Max has got the same amount of poles as Charles in Formula One overall. And it just shows, it seems to be that's he's a Sunday man, and it seems to be a Sunday car. That Red Bull. Ferrari seems to be a Saturday car, which also makes Austria a bit of an anomaly because Ferrari just had Red Bull in their pocket on that Sunday, but Max was all conquering on the Saturday. It's a funny sport. It really is interesting. I did a couple of wild cards actually. I think I got a bit loose and just started calling everything. And I think looking back, this wasn't my thought process at the time, but I think looking back in my head, it was kind of you throw enough shit at a wall and something will stick. And
did anything stick?
No. No, well, I did say, I said an Alpine will qualify in the top 5. I was, of course, expecting a wet qualifying, but I did get that. Ocon qualified P5.
Yeah. And Fernando P6.
Fernando P6. So I did get that one. And I said that for the first time in a long time, we're going to see Max make a mistake. Now, we did and we didn't. The geezer won the race, so don't matter.
And also, it was a very cool spin.
It was a great spin. I actually, as I say, Max is actually doing an interview now, and he looks very happy with himself. Wonder why?
He's probably pissed.
I watched the replay, and what was so impressive, which we know he's got supreme car control because of some of the spins he's had in the past where he's held it. With this one, when he started spinning, a lot of drivers get quite reactive with the wheel and try and fight it. He left the wheel fully rotated and let the car. And then when the car lined sort of back up the way he wanted to go, that's when he twisted the wheel and it kind of locked the wheels back in place and got it going again.
He can nail a 360, can't he? Do you remember, was it 2017, 2018?
The Brazil one?
Yeah,
dude. Awesome. 2016, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know the exact year to be
when he was like 18.
Yeah, it was that was amazing. That was in the wet as well. So
it was in the wet.
And
but he always holds it, doesn't he?
Of course, Silverstone this year in qualifying.
Yeah.
As well. So clearly a man just at the absolute tip top of his game. So Max also did make a mistake in Q3 because he had made a mistake on his first lap. Yeah. And then he lost power for his second lap. So I'm claiming that Max made a mistake. I called it. Is still so much better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Other than maybe Lewis, I think that Lewis and George, if Lewis and George are with the Mercedes team, but with the Ferrari car, I think we'd be having a whopping championship battle right now.
It would be similar to last year, apart from Russell's probably a bit more consistent than Bottas, right? And Checo, by the way. Whew. What is going on there?
Well, the whole qualifying thing. I guess we can touch on qualifying a little bit because the rain never came. But we did lose Checo in Q2. He was in P11. Did you see it? I think you were out on a boat, weren't you?
Yeah, I was out on a boat, but he did. He got his track. He's got his time deleted.
Yeah,
and then he didn't go for another run, did he? Because he thought he was out.
So he did. He did go for another run.
Yeah.
And turn 2, Kevin Magnussen was driving very slowly on the racing line. And he lost, like a second almost through that.
Yeah.
But then he got his time reinstated. So then he went back into the box. And I think they sent him out.
That was going to be enough.
And then I think they sent him out on used tyres, not new ones, thinking, oh, he's all right. And then, obviously he was the last one to get knocked out in P11. So just got knocked out, and obviously it must have been someone improved late on to be able to do it.
If you've got right now today Verstappen starting in P10 and winning, Perez starting in P11, coming home P5.
That's where you should be finishing.
I don't know, it just didn't. It didn't look great. It didn't look like he ever had anything on signs. It didn't look like he had anything on Russell or Hamilton. It just didn't look like he had anything on those other ones, where Verstappen, obviously, you could see was just better than all of them. It didn't seem like he was better than any of them. No,
but that is Checo in a nutshell. But as we have been pointing out, I think, a good start to this year kind of clouded the judgment that he's there to get him P4 and a P3 and let Max do his thing, because that is as Bottas has also shown, and many other drivers over the years, that is kind of the best, most harmonious dynamic within a team. And he will do that job. And he's done, he's P5, pretty solid, finished ahead of Leclerc, who started in P3. So not that that's Charles Leclerc's fault, really, too much. But so it's an interesting one. We also, a very brief touch. This is not the Canadian catastrophe of the week, but the Canadian crazy moment of the week.
It was so funny.
Latifi P1 in free practice 3, and of course,
Albon was about P3 in that session, wasn't he?
Yeah, yes, he was, and by over half a second, Latifi, the GOAT, was top of FP3. Of course, mitigating circumstances. He was just the last person to set a lap on, so he did the driest lap.
But then Q1 came around yesterday.
Yes, yeah.
And he had 3 very different sectors in that lap, didn't he?
He had 3 he had a roller coaster of a lap, and this was going to be my Canadian catastrophe of the week. Purple in sector 1.
Unreal.
And you're thinking, like, where has this guy found this pace from?
Yeah.
Personal best sector
green in
2.
sector 2, yeah.
Personal best. So you're thinking, oh, well, he's not going to, maybe he won't put it to the top, but he's getting through. And that in itself, in this Williams, is an achievement.
Yeah.
He crossed the line over 7/10 down and in last.
Yeah. Purple sector 1 to P20 in Q1 is fucking abysmal, isn't it? Something
really,
in that sector 3 must have gone completely wrong. I don't think I've seen any footage from his sector 3 there. I don't think they had it.
I'm sure we will see it at some point. I'll most likely see it on my TikTok because my phone is always listening and I say his name a lot. Mostly.
Is that just your whole For You page? It's just Nicholas Latifi.
Yeah, well, I slander him a lot, but at the end of the day, all my phone hears is his name. So it just keeps putting him on my For You page. But yeah, so that's Canadian Catastrophe of the Week, is that he has managed to just really impressively fuck it. I don't know. But, you know, that is why they call him the GOAT. And it was just, it was obviously fresh off the FP3 success. But anyway,
hilarious.
As I watched they're doing like a quick thing of the race right here I'm watching. Let's talk about the race, I guess. And I think we don't start with the winner. I think we're going to start in a very similar place that we've started the last few podcasts.
Every race this year.
And it's by talking about woes at Ferrari.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Charles has done something to those strategists, hasn't he?
Dude, he has shagged someone's wife. He has to have. There's no way you can just treat this bloke like this constantly and just let him lay there and take it the way he does.
Honestly, he still won't blame the team, will he? Because otherwise, I don't know, he'll be found dead in his apartment in Monaco. But what on earth was that call? So Alpine have just shown us, literally in the last 5 laps, that the hard tyres are not coming to life at all, haven't they?
Exactly. And the other car was Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah.
And a car that has been labelled this weekend, I'm sure you heard it, the white Ferrari.
Yeah.
So you can get a pretty good reading.
It was like Don Johnson, wasn't it?
You can get a pretty good reading from that we should not do that. But boy, did they do it.
They just did it. They just did it, and they threw him out in the middle of the pack. I think he came out about P8, didn't he?
I don't know where he come out, but it weren't pretty. Ferrari, I think the pattern I'm picking up on here, and this is a raw reaction, so maybe I need to look into this more.
I'm surprised you think there's a pattern.
Well, there is, because they're so reactive that they're overreactive. And that everything, so Max said on the radio when he won, he was like, I think we kept our heads today when others didn't, and we got the win. And it was just like, week in, week out, we watch Ferrari react to someone else instead of being the one that takes the initiative, Ferrari, they react. And all they do is react, and they panic. They don't need to get Charles in first then, if that's what you think. But realistically, we know that he had to use it. We know he needed to have another stop. So
lap 35, he was leading. Lap 50, he was in P3, and he just fell down the order from there.
Well, he boxed again, didn't he? He went from hards to softs.
Mate, honestly.
They boxed him again. He did a 3-stop. Oh, Lewis. Hi, Lewis. So it really is just remarkable. And I was feeling Well, I am feeling actually very passionate about it, and I did really want to have a moan. The only thing that's stopping me getting too worked up is the crippling hangover I'm nursing. But
I see a pattern here.
that is a pattern. I just feel so strongly about how blatantly obvious it is that there is catastrophic and consistently poor calls being made at a team of Ferrari stature, and no one is taking any liability for it. No one is taking any issues for it. Look,
well, Binotto just blamed pace in the interview, didn't he?
This is what I mean. Look, I don't mean to compare Formula One to football, and I think sometimes people don't like that because they're so different. But there's an element of leadership where sometimes, you'll put your back to the bullets, and you'll sort of, you will take the rainstorm to stop. And you will see a manager come out and he'll say it was my fault today. But when he gets in that changing room, he's going to lever him because it's not his fault, sort of thing. But there's not one person in that Ferrari garage at any point that's even trying to protect these drivers.
No.
They're coming out and saying it's a pace problem when they've 3-stop Charles Leclerc, medium, hard, soft.
Yeah.
What? And they go, oh, we're slow. It's a bit cold today. Max Verstappen started in P10. They started in P2 and P3.
And he won comfortably.
And he won. By the line, he was 16 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. And he was coasting for that last lap.
Yeah.
Hamilton
because it was raining. It was raining, wasn't it, as well?
Hamilton took 2 seconds out.
And he was on 40 old lap old tyres, wasn't he?
Like 35 or something laps
the mediums
on these mediums.
Weren't supposed to go that far.
So I just have such an element of frustration. And as I say, I think I would be more expressive but I think loud noises and anger will make me throw up. So I'm trying to sort of find a happy medium.
And we had another banging result for Mercedes, who we're both repping today.
Yeah, oh yeah, we are. Represent. I think Mercedes are showing their experience in a different way this season because obviously they're used to winning. But one thing that they know what to do, they know how to handle these situations because they've been in them all, and they've been in these situations for 8 consecutive years. So they know how to extract the most out of a situation where maybe you've not got the fastest car, but they can, they know how to get the best strategy. And of course, they're helped by having 2 fantastic drivers that are showing a phenomenal level of consistency. And I said to you just before we started, this is like a bit of a dumb hypothetical, but I don't care because I've listened to some other podcasts and they say way worse shit than this. But if Mercedes as a team and drivers had the Ferrari car this year, so if that Ferrari car was a silver arrow this year,
it needs to be done and dusted.
This championship would be electric. I think
it'd be finished.
Do you? Do you really?
Yeah. Do you not think the amount of times that they've thrown away points, or Leclerc has made the mistakes he's made, or Sainz has made a mistake? Do you not think that? I mean, I don't think Lewis and George make those mistakes, and I don't think the team makes the mistakes. We've talked multiple times about Verstappen capitalizing on mistakes. Mercedes don't do that. They don't make the mistakes.
No, they don't, and it's kind of like one of those things. I've said this about Max a couple of times, where it's amazing to win what is now his 8th race of the season and 28th race of his career. His 8th race win of the season. And once again, you're kind of like, he won from 10th on the grid today, and you're still kind of like, he didn't do that much. He just drove. He just drove.
But they just picked a strategy and went with it. Like you say, Ferrari were very reactive, but Max and Red Bull, they had their strategy and they just used it.
And
there was nothing special about it. There was some nice overtakes, but
yeah, it was a couple of nice moves. But
other than that, it was just track position fell into their hands by way of Ferrari making mistakes.
The exact same point that I feel is with Mercedes at the moment is that they're not doing anything spectacular, but they've just
Apart from George's pole lap.
That was spectacular, actually. Big shout out to GR. That gave me goosebumps. And that is the when I talk about, I remember I've spoke before about the pole lap in Singapore from Lewis in 2018. That George lap was the first time since then where like my hairs were standing up and I was like, wow.
I think the commentators played it down as well. I think when I watched the notebook, Ted was sort of talking about it as well. He was just like, a few things lined up for him. And, you know, there's the great drive, but there's also the wind and the track cooling down. And I was just like, I don't know. It just looked like a brilliant lap to me.
He didn't go purple in any sector, but it was the most complete lap.
Yeah.
Which is that's brilliant. That's amazing. It's not, that car should not be on pole yet. I just loved it. And I think, as I say, it was his first pole, which I think was another element that was why
Mercedes' first pole of the season as well.
Yeah, I think that's why I got like goosebumps from it. I was just like, wow, like what a spectacular way to do it. And I very much think that we could have had a Mercedes front row lockout had Lewis not encountered his DRS issues. And I also think that we very easily could be talking about Lewis Hamilton victory if it wasn't for this DRS issues on Saturday as well.
No, because I don't think Verstappen makes up from P10 to getting past both of those Mercedes if they're starting in front of him. I just don't think he does it. If they're starting at the front and they're controlling the race like George did at the beginning as well, I thought at the beginning of the race, he might have worn his tyres a little bit by having such a, you know, there's quite a lot of big battles there going on at the beginning. But he just looked brilliant, didn't he, in that first stint?
Yeah, he was good. Obviously, he started on the softs, the Ferraris on the mediums. Verstappen started on the softs, Lewis started on the mediums. Checo on the mediums, softs. No, Checo on the softs. And I don't know what the Alpine started on, but I know that
mediums, I think.
Either way, they finished 8 and 9, which is, you know, it's about right. But it was just, it was just interesting in regards to how it all played out, because it was just like, you know, Leclerc was winning. Sainz was ahead of Leclerc, obviously, during the first stint. Then they swapped them over through the pits, which kind of felt deliberate.
It did seem that way, didn't it? They overcut their own driver.
Yeah, thought that was a bit strange. And Russell held the lead. Then obviously did eventually get overtaken. He did. It was just that first stint was really good, and he just fell off a little bit on his pace, didn't he? I don't know if what he was particularly struggling with. That Lewis obviously found a lot easier.
The Leclerc move on Russell was class as well.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant,
mate. That was so good.
We saw some really good racing today, actually.
Yeah.
I'm like there was
most of it between the two Aston Martins.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. Not only because he's retiring, and we've got some off-week podcasts to do, and I feel that maybe we should do like a Sebastian Vettel based podcast.
Yep, I mean
in the off week for sure. By the way, if you told me I would be saying that in like 2012, I would have just never ever believed you.
Not even up to. Well, I guess championships change things, but I thought he wasn't your favourite when he was at Ferrari, was he?
No, I'd be fair. I've held a lot of resentment for that man over the years.
Yeah.
But you know, we all come around. I actually know that there's going to probably be a day where I actually like don't mind Max Verstappen, but not yet. So
he says through gritted teeth.
But I'll get there. I guess I'll get there. What was I saying? I got distracted.
Well, I was talking about the Aston Martins when you talk about good racing, because they were the ones that had the race.
And when Seb got him, I was just like, that's for fucking France. That's for France. Good on you, Sebi. So yeah, that was some good racing. The only poor bit of racing we saw today, in terms of wheel to wheel, was Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, he locked up. I'm defending him for no reason.
He did. He locked up and he got understeer and he went into the side of Stroll. Stroll did give him the space though. He was just obviously, I think they were quite fresh, hard tyres, so they probably weren't up to temperature. and he went into him. He did get a penalty for it. And yeah, we'll probably mention him very shortly. But
interesting about the finish, though, is what I will say was Lando Norris was the last driver to finish on that lead lap, right? And
he got Lando Norris. Yeah, it was the last one on the lead lap. Yeah.
He was 62 seconds behind Leclerc.
Oh wow!
He was a whole minute in 7th place behind 6th place. Now, I don't know at the end how close the Alpines were. He did say that was his target, was to finish in front of both Alpines, and he did that very well. Yeah. He only started one position above both of them, so those three have finished in that order again. But, I mean, that car just looks rubbish. But 62 seconds between the top 3 teams and the next car is mental.
The midfield battle is fun to watch. Oh, speak of the devil, Lando is on my screen right now. I'm sure he's saying that the car's shit, the wheels are shit, the team's shit, or something.
Didn't like the track. my leg hurts.
Yeah, he is a funny one.
We've had to jumble around the cockpit to fit that stupid camera in there with the pedals.
But yeah, so the midfield battle is really interesting, and I am enjoying that and how mixed up it is. Like, so obviously, as previously mentioned, Alfa Romeo's early season form is bailing them out because they are absolutely shocking now.
Mm.
And it's almost a jumbled up order, because if the season started now, it would be very different. And I do like that.
And we thought Haas were a lot better than they are as well.
Yeah, but the truth is, well, Haas even had upgrades again this weekend. So they've really, So, so the top six, which I think I've spoke about, obviously, if they all finish, which hasn't happened actually probably for a little while. 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls, 2 Mercedes all finishing. Well, 2 Mercedes always, but the other ones, it is clear that because Mercedes were more in the other battle at the start of this season. Yeah. So they have closed that gap, but the gap is astronomical.
Yeah, that is mental. When you think about how far off the pace we say the Mercedes are, not maybe this weekend, but weekends in the past. 62 seconds from 6th place to Lando there. And I mean, obviously, we've said it before, he is the best of the rest, right?
And Lando's no slouch. Do you know what I mean?
No.
He put the car on P4 for a reason.
Yeah.
That reason being that Max had a power issue. but
and that Checo wasn't in.
Yeah, it's a net P6. But
but he does get it up there, doesn't he?
But he does
himself onto 4th. I think that was the second time this year he's been on the 4th spot of the grid, I think.
Yeah, and he has no right to be there. And obviously on the Sunday, these things, you will get more exposed in terms of the pace of the car. As he did, he held up Lewis for a few laps. That was another thing that Verstappen should be very thankful for.
He did bring Verstappen well into that fight.
Because if Lewis had cleared him, Lewis probably gaps him a bit more.
And then Mercedes have got some wiggle room with their strategy, right?
Yeah, but they didn't. And obviously Red Bull pulled off the undercut, which was... Well, they always say the undercut's very strong around here, but the undercut's kind of strong everywhere.
Apart from the fact that the overcut also worked with Ferraris too, of the same car. So it's like...
But that's because they turned Sainz's car down, which is something...
Bloody Mattia Binotto.
Yeah. It's... Mercedes, another fantastic result. Max Verstappen, by the way, I do want to give him full credit because he was so much better than everyone else that he did a 360 for a laugh and still won.
It was the preemptive celebratory donuts halfway through the race.
And I have nothing but respect for that. If anything, that's what's made me like him. Is
cocky. I love it. He just did some donuts in the middle of the race.
I'd like to think he waved or something as he done it. Like that is brilliant. Or
he said ka-chow.
Ka-chow. Okay, some Lightning McQueen shit. But yeah, so it's just it's experience. I guess it's recent experience. I would imagine that all these Ferrari people, whilst winning's in their DNA, I would imagine half this Ferrari mechanical crew, pit crew, they're not winners because they haven't been winners for
I think all the strategists are getting sacked over the summer.
For like 4 years. 5 years, they haven't been winners. So it's not only a team that have forgotten. I've been saying that they've forgotten how to win. But I think what I need to realize is
most of these guys
don't know how to win.
Yeah.
They don't know how to win. So they're learning on the job. And this is why it is.
Which was fine when they didn't have a competitive car.
Yeah, that was great because no one noticed. It was shit. So it didn't matter. If anything, they looked good. But yeah, they are getting a little bit exposed at the moment for this like lack of experience, almost, that you could call it. And it is going to be interesting to see how they progress because, of course, we've got. Ferrari are here now in 2022. And as previously mentioned, they've always said that this was the year to be competitive for race wins and then start going for the title.
Championships in the next couple of years, yeah.
They've got the base and they will learn. And it does make me think that...
They've laid down the excuses like I like to do.
Yeah, well...
Set your expectations.
Yeah, undersell, over-deliver sort of vibe.
Or just sell and deliver at the minute, I guess.
Yeah, no delivery for me. I just sell.
Sell and under-deliver.
Sell and under-deliver. That is my motto, mate. So, yeah, I think that it is going to be intriguing. Obviously, as we say, we've got 23, 24, 25 season before we have another regulation switch. So, Ferrari have got a few years to get their act together. I think it will be a genuine, like, I don't know how to put it into words, but if they don't win any of them 4 championships, it's just like, is that like one of the best cars ever to not win a championship kind of vibe? Do you know what I mean?
I think this year you can say it's close to it. I don't think, as an overall, especially with the reliability coming into play, that it's necessarily miles better than the Red Bull, but I still think overall it's a better car than the Red Bull this year, right?
Yeah, but I just think as a car, if it doesn't win a championship, not one, it's got to be up there with one of the best cars to not win one.
Oh, so like with the W12 not winning the Drivers' Championship or winning the Constructors, for example.
Yeah, like that's got to be one of the best cars to not win a championship sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just think, because I think like that car is too good to not.
Especially when you've got two drivers, one driver specifically, that although there might be a shout for him not necessarily having the experience yet to conclusively win it, you've got one driver that's very much capable of it. Yeah. I don't think he's a shoo-in because he's got a mistake in him, but they've got more.
So it's a lot needs to happen. We are in the summer break now, and it's a lot needs to change in that Ferrari garage. We're coming back with some new regulations in terms of the floors and stuff, so I'm intrigued to see how that's going to work out for the pace of the cars.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if Checo had that old floor on again, the new floor.
Yeah, it is. Again, if that's true, then that could be they're getting as much data as possible off Checo and letting Max go off and exploit the flexi floor.
Because we heard about it last week. We didn't hear about it this week.
No. And I think I'm fair saying this. I'm sitting here in a Mercedes hat with a Mercedes background. And what you can't see is the countless amount of Mercedes merchandise that's in my bedroom right now. But based on the trend, you can only imagine with 3 weeks to work on this car now, working on some smart upgrades and little things that we're going to really see Mercedes in the fight in the second half of the season, I think.
Yeah. No, and as I said last week, they're coming second in the constructors.
It really looks that way. And again, I mean, I'm saying...
You say that like you doubt me.
Well, it's like, it's one thing to say that Ferrari car is going to be one of the best cars to not win a championship. But it's got to be one of the best cars ever to come third in a championship.
Yeah.
Like, that has got to be the best third car best third place car ever. Like, wow. If that is to happen, of course, we will see. Maybe Ferrari take these 3 weeks off and actually just blow it out of the water. But based on trends, the trends at the moment are Mercedes are fast, Ferrari is shit, Verstappen's dick is huge. So that's basically my summary of the top 6 today. And yeah, five podiums in a row for Lewis. Well done, Lewis. Couple of podiums in a row for G. Russell. Unfortunate today. I was actually hoping he would take the win today, actually.
Yeah. Mostly just so he could stop talking like he's never won a race. But
yeah, but that pole position might feel a little bit.
Do you think that's going to appease him, or is it going to motivate him?
Who knows? I mean, he's now got the same amount of pole positions in Formula One as Lance Stroll, so he's really in esteemed company.
Yeah. Speaking of Lance Stroll, you know what I thought was great?
What?
The Aston Martins battling so hard that they let Daniel Ricciardo do the double overtake on them.
That was Alpine.
Was it the Alpines?
Alpines.
Those Alpines fighting, and also actually, I did know that because I texted you saying I think Ocon's going to get murdered by Fernando in his sleep.
Yeah.
Oh my Christ! Sorry, yeah, not them fighting, but they did fight at the end, didn't they? Again, but Ocon and Alonso fighting so much that they let Daniel Ricciardo, who's massively just off form,
really bad,
do that double overtake.
And it was nice. It was just kind of just a little flashback. And, you go on Twitter and everyone's like, that's the Danny we know and love. I mean, he didn't really do a lot.
12 seconds.
He just took the racing line because the other two were fucking fighting somewhere else. But I don't know. The Alpines are very much the ones that are laughing come the end of the race when Daniel Ricciardo was in P50.
But maybe this was all a ploy just to make sure Lando finished in front of them,
Well, yeah, it's leveled out the points because Fernando got 4, Ocon got 2 points, which is, of course, 6 for any of my inept listeners. And Lando Norris scored 6 points as well. So that levels out that championship and keeps the gap, I believe, at 4 points. Wow, I've just looked at the constructors table. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's done, but there's a couple of places that haven't been decided yet.
It's the other bit as well. So Alpine in P4 haven't broke 100 yet.
Nah. After 13 races.
12, 13. Either way, Mercedes, for those that obviously aren't looking at this because that would be weird, I guess, because it would mean you were in my bedroom right now. Mercedes have 304 points in 3rd place in the Constructors. And 4th place Alpine have 99. That is hilarious. Well, who got the fastest pit stop today? Oh, it doesn't say.
Oh, they haven't done that one yet.
They haven't updated that one. Lewis Hamilton with an extra point today, fastest lap as well. 19 points.
I don't know. I don't know where they got the pace from for that fastest lap either. I know I only had the softs and he was on a bit of a charge at the end, but
yeah, he just because obviously Sainz was on the softs, but Lewis just smashed him.
Oh no! There was a genuine problem with pace from the Ferraris, but it could have been mitigated by not doing a dog shit strategy.
Yeah, 100%.
There was definitely a problem with pace. But
this is the thing with the damage limitation, where in that situation, Lewis, you or Max, or probably even George would go, I'm not going to win this. What I can do, or Ferrari on the pit wall should say, okay, mate, we're not going to win this now. But what we can do is get ourselves, 15 and 12, 27 points by coming 2nd and 3rd, just playing our cards right. But they just didn't. They tried so hard to win the race and reacting to all of the shit that they unwon the race. I don't know. That made
I think the word you're looking for is lost.
They lost the race. Yeah.
Dog,
they lost.
Rubbish.
They lost it.
Mm.
So interestingly, obviously George is 2 points ahead of Sainz now in the championship, and he must not be happy seeing that this Mercedes resurgence and Lewis Hamilton, a man who is very much in form at the moment, is only 10 points behind him, which means that if Lewis was to put another P2 in, I think unless Carlos would only, well, if he came P4, would that be enough?
I think we can make relatively okay predictions that I think Perez is going to get his shit back together. He's going to finish in second behind Max. Leclerc is then going to finish in third, but George Russell's going to be very much on his tail with Lewis Hamilton as well.
Dude, I looking at that now, like Perez and Checo, 5 points separating them.
Sorry, Perez is Checo.
Sorry, Leclerc and Checo.
Yeah.
I was reading and it just, well, clearly I wasn't reading, but I thought I was reading. Leclerc and Checo, 5 points separating them. 178 points for Leclerc, 173 points for Perez. Both seem to really be lacking results, bar that win in Austria for, like recently. Barring that win in Austria for Charles. And, you know, if George and Lewis keep banging in P3 and P4, P2, P3, P4, just keep banging them in every week, I don't see why the fuck not that one of them could come second in the championship. I really do not see why the fuck not. There is is that a 15-point gap to Checo from George, with George? Yeah. That seems ludicrous in itself now.
Yeah.
Because of after Monaco and Baku and it was like, holy shit.
Checo's going to win the championship.
Holy shit, Checo's going to win it. And now there's 15 points in it, which means that if...
George has only finished outside the top 5 once, though.
Yeah, and he didn't finish.
Yeah, so, I mean, the only reason he didn't finish was because he was trying to save someone's life, so...
Which is, which is fair. It's
fair dues from Russell.
Fair dues. So... Why not? I'm not saying that I think they will, but it's not. At the start of the season, that is a wild card prediction. And now it's not. I don't see why it is. Leclerc and Ferrari are faltering big time. They've had a DNF and a P6 in the last 2 races. You're only as good as your last race. We're coming into a triple header, by the way. Milk me, Daddy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we are.
Triple header.
We're going Spa, Zandvoort, and somewhere else in Europe. Fuck you, my memory is so bad.
Oh my God.
Spa, Zandvoort. Oh!
Monza.
Yeah. Spa, Zandvoort, Monza.
All right, early predictions. Very early predictions.
Yeah.
Spa Max, Zandvoort Max, Monza Charles.
I thought you were just going Belgium Max, Spa Max. Sorry, they're both the same. Zandvoort Max, Italy Max, Singapore Max, Japan Max.
I mean, most of those we can say are going to be Max anyway.
USA Max, Mexico.
But that
Max.
Triple header, I think Max is going to put.
Brazil,
however many wins in a row Max is going to get now. I mean, we've got France, Hungary, Belgium, Netherlands at least. I think he's going to do at least 4 in a row.
Yeah, which would be the second time this season, right?
Yeah, and then Charles is going to walk Monza, I think, as well, which is just funny considering they're so bad. He's just going to walk Monza, isn't he?
No, he's not. I got no faith in Ferrari at all, mate.
I told you he's going to win about 3 more races.
No, they're not.
You think they've done winning races?
They're done. I'm being reactive like them. I'm so angry at Ferrari. They are a disgrace. I don't want to go back onto it. They are disgraceful. They're an abomination to themselves and the sport of Formula One. Did you
like the meme I sent in last week when they fucked it up and I found all the memes on Twitter?
I think you sent in like 4 or 5 different ones.
Yeah, it was like 10. It was just like, no, the Ferrari mechanics are playing poker.
And there's one where they're all just clowns.
Yeah, the pit wall and they've just put clowns on their faces. There's an email someone's put to scuderiaferrari@gmail.com. Respected sir, I would like to apply for the lead strategist position at Scuderia Ferrari. Despite the lack of experience, I'm confident that I can outperform the current employee while asking for lower wages.
It is just truly Ferrari. You're an embarrassment.
That's crumbling, isn't it?
You are an embarrassment. I can't put into words the frustration I have with this team, and the ego of their history is making them not take liability. Makes me all the more angry that these two poor fucking drivers who clearly have so much ability and talent are being made to say, I fucked it every week.
Yeah.
Because their team is...
Or they're blaming on pace, which is just hilarious.
Yeah, because their team has just got too much... Well, they think they've got too much of an image to ever say different, but I need to get off that because I keep falling back into it, but it's just really frustrating. Any more notable performances? Alonso P8, P9, Vettel P10.
Yeah, I guess Vettel, to be fair. Where did he start?
Well, did you see he crashed in FP3?
He started P18.
Yeah, he crashed in FP3, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that when they were repairing his car between FP3 and Q1, he was helping. He was involved. He was fixing the car with the mechanics.
I just fucking love him.
What a great bloke. He
finish in the points after that.
Yeah.
After starting P18, I think is.
And there was only one DNF, so there's no net P anything.
No. The only person that didn't finish, Valtteri Bottas, who actually had a very good qualifying.
Where did he qualify in the end? 8th.
P8. He was. Yeah. He's not been in Q3 for like 7 races in a row or something ridiculous.
No, Alfa Romeo are having a horrible run at the moment. I think bar Canada, where Zhou Guanyu got like a few points, they've really been on a rough run. Williams,
I think if you look at quali from this weekend, it's kind of hard because it's such a short lap. So like Zhou was only, I mean, his time was actually only 2/10 slower than Ricciardo, who ended up qualifying P9. So his Q2 time was only 2/10. Yeah, 2/10 slower than Ricciardo's Q3 time. So it's kind of a tricky one to read into too much. But as you say, I think it was 7 races in a row or something that Bottas hasn't been in Q3 for.
Yeah, and it's you could just, that car is on an obvious downfall. And may I add, his DNF today was a Ferrari power unit failure. So
yeah, I just saw him stop. I didn't really understand.
Engine.
Didn't really hear much about what was said.
Engine.
He just said losing power, didn't he?
Yeah, it was the engine.
Yeah.
So another Ferrari faltering. Good times. I'm just looking at anything outside, from 12 downwards. It's just like nothing. It's just nothing. What do you say?
Do you think we should run the races like quali sessions where people just get knocked out if they're not doing well?
Like whoever's last at the end of lap 5 has to go into the box, and it just keeps going until there's only one driver left. That would be lit, actually. That would be sick.
There's just always battles because you're always trying to get the person in front of you.
Like a knockout race where every 5 laps the last running driver is out.
It's just last man standing.
Dude, that's better than a sprint race. That's sick. Mate, Formula One, if you're listening, I know I say a lot of bad stuff on this podcast about you and your organisation.
Yeah, if they are listening, it's because they want to sue us.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Especially, that's probably because they're run by Ferrari, though. So, Ricciardo, he is really...
We don't have to talk about him, it's fine.
Really...
We can just leave him, it's fine.
Really bad at driving cars now.
It was a sick double overtake, though.
It was. That was good.
I mean, the car's not there at all for him, is it? Like, he's not there, but the car's not there either. Like, Lando's dragging it through. Just.
That's, they got Ricciardo in to drag that car through. Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of thing you would expect a guy like him to do. He's talking about he still has aspirations to win a championship, and he's a guy that's won 8 races or whatever it was. The geezer is just so off it.
Mm.
If I'm McLaren, I'd get rid of him. as soon as possible.
Zach Brown doesn't want to, but he's probably going to be replaced next season, isn't he? Now
he has to be. He has to be. He does not.
We said he needed to outperform Lando 3 or 4 times this year, didn't we?
I don't think that's good enough. I don't. I think
no, but that would have been enough to keep him in his seat. I think if he outperforms Lando,
maybe to keep him in his seat, but I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. I don't think he deserves a seat. Full stop. I think he's done.
But by the same logic, we could say a lot of drivers don't deserve a seat.
Yeah, no, I know. I say that all the time. Absolutely.
There's quite a few.
Sonoda can fuck off. Terrible.
Albon was bad today as well.
Albon's he got 1 point in Australia with red hair, and I think he's still living off that high. Well done, mate. Probably your best ever driving Formula One. So
who did he crash into today?
Who gives a shit? Do you know what I mean?
Early doors, he crashed into someone, I think. I think he crashed into someone early doors.
So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Daniel Ricciardo this is the break. This is the break. So he has got a second half of the season to redeem himself. But as it stands, I don't see why any team would want to pick up. He's 33, so he's not too old. Like it's not a horrible age by any means.
So
but
with Vettel retiring,
why would you give him a seat?
With Vettel retiring, right? I know we haven't discussed this yet, but on the last episode, we were adamant he wasn't retiring.
Yeah,
but he's since retired. Well, announced his retirement.
Actually, the day after we posted it.
Yeah, not good. Anyway, he's announced his retirement. That opens up a seat at Aston Martin. Firstly, I think they're in a rebuild, so they're getting a young driver. But on the flip side, McLaren are going to score more points. So people would be more inclined to go for that McLaren seat next year, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you entertain the idea of him fighting it out with Lance Stroll at Aston Martin?
I think for Aston Martin, it wouldn't be the worst thing because of his experience. He may be able to help them develop the car from shitbox to slightly less shitbox. But how much data can you get from him anymore?
Well, that's what I mean, because that's why I said initially that, okay, they're in a bit of a rebuild. They do need a younger driver in theory. So you're looking at Dragovic, you're looking at De Vries, Piastri needs a seat. Fernando's not retiring, so there we go. Fernando's going to retire this week. Piastri needs a seat, so I think Aston Martin should take Dragovic or Piastri or De Vries. But also, I think if McLaren decide with Ricciardo that they want to let him go, for example, that he could quite easily just slot into that Aston Martin seat and let someone else take McLaren. I don't know. That's just a theory.
I say it time and time again. He is the best personality on the grid. He is.
Lando was quite funny, wasn't he?
Lando is funny.
When they asked him how he pulled off his P4, he's like, you're looking at him.
Yeah, you're looking at the reason why. Yeah. But yeah, Ricciardo is the best personality on the grid.
I don't like sad Ricciardo.
But there's only so many times I can say that before I realise that being funny still come P15 every week and barely get out of Q1. So
yeah, I mean, if life was easier when you were funny, we'd be having much better lives right now, wouldn't we?
Dude, I wouldn't be here. So I don't know. Yeah, I've got a lot of frustration this week. Maybe it's the hangover. I'm just angry with everyone. Ferrari have done this. Ferrari have ticked me off, but it's all content at the end of the day. But but yeah, last week we sort of ran through almost the whole order because there was a lot of talking points all throughout the grid. But yeah, I think beyond the top 6, from 7th downwards, as I've said, there wasn't really a lot to say.
No,
there genuinely isn't. There was. Yeah, Ricciardo crashed into someone at one point. AlphaTauri, I said to you, I don't know, were we live at this point or not? When I said that they have probably had the least screen time.
No, we weren't live yet.
Oh, okay. I think AlphaTauri have the least amount of screen time of any car this season.
It's just when Yuki spins or crashes, isn't it?
So uneventful. They've got no pace, so they're not. Then Gasly's not able to replicate the form of the last couple of seasons and put that car into P6, P5, P4 and race with the big dogs. Where, of course, if you remember, he was.
I'm a bit gutted he took that contract extension. I know he needed to stay in, but
I think he's a bit gutted at the moment. No,
well, but he had a point to prove, right? He had a point to prove when he basically got demoted again. When he got promoted into the Red Bull seat and demoted back to, was it Toro Rosso when he went back down? No, it was AlphaTauri at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was back to.
No, it was back to Toro Rosso, and then
the
beginning of the new season, it was AlphaTauri. So he had a point to prove then. What has he got to prove now? And he doesn't have the equipment.
It is so difficult for him because I
think he's class as well.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Look, last year he was beating the Ferraris. He was up there with the McLarens.
And out qualifying Checo when Checo was in the Red Bull.
Yeah, and Bottas in the Mercedes at times as well. So absolutely, like he has all this ability. He's been given a car that is way below the standards of the last couple of years. And it shows. And it shows like in so many ways in terms of like P12, he's just in no man's land. He can't put it, at least before, like, you know, even if it didn't have the race pace, he was the type of guy that would at least put in a good enough qualifying that even if he fell down the order, he would come 9th or 10th to score a couple of points. But now he can't even get into the points. P12 is more or less where you're going to see Gasly finish most races this season, I think. And other than, obviously, he had a really good race in Baku, I think. But it is just no man's land for AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo. And they're two teams that are scoring frighteningly little points at the moment in these races. Aston Martin are picking up 1s and 2s, but
every race.
But it is really because Ricciardo, I don't count as a top 10. I don't count him as a top 15 driver. So for me, that top 8 that we had today
is pretty much it.
That's it, nailed on. If everyone finishes the race.
It's some order of that.
It's some order of that 9, and then
I was going to say the 9.
All of the below fight it out for that last place. It's the Red Bulls, the Mercedes, the Ferraris, the Alpines, and Norris,
and Norris.
Yeah. That's how I see it, and and it is just a matter of
how many points scoring in a row did Daniel go on? Was it 2 or 3?
I think it was 2. And I think he scored about 4 points total. So, well done, mate. Well done.
I was looking at who it's more points than at the minute, and it's mostly just Pierre Gasly.
But that's exactly it. That's the problem at the moment, mate. So, just sort of a quick reflection, I guess, on the standings as we sort of come to the close of the race review. May I just say, by the way, a much better race than I anticipated. Overtaking was a lot more frequent. And another thing that I said to you was it really emphasized today how mega that defense for Fernando Alonso was last year.
Yeah. Class.
Look how
wide Alonso.
Look how good. Look how many overtakes were made today. I don't know the official numbers yet. I don't think they've come out yet because we do like to check that sometimes.
Yeah.
But we saw plenty of overtakes, particularly into turn 1 and turn 2. And you know, the moves were being made with equal cars. You know, it was a Red Bull on a Ferrari on a Mercedes. And yet last year, when it was a MERC that was significantly faster than that Alpine.
Significantly.
And Lewis couldn't get past. And that just, I just thought it was number one.
We have got the cars that were made to race closer together, and they are doing that, I will say.
Yeah, and I think today was one of the biggest examples of how well they've done with that. Because of the contrast. So this track is rated, Budapest, by the way, is rated as the second hardest track to overtake behind Monaco. You wouldn't have thought it today, would you? You know what I mean? So well done, I guess, F1 for that, because they've made that a spectacle. I said that qualifying was going to be more important than the race. I was fucking so wrong.
Yeah, it was strategy.
Because Max in from P10 won, and Lewis
like
from
easily as well.
Lewis from P7 comes second. So clearly qualifying meant shit all. But as I say, I was basing it more on the last couple of years where it was less frequent to overtake. So yeah, I just wanted to say, like, it was actually a really fun race today. You know, it wasn't like the most biggest barnstormer, but it was absolutely enjoyable. Really, really fun watch. But yeah, just reflecting on the driver standings as we do. Nicholas Latifi, of course, the only regular driver without a point. Alex Albon, as I say, hasn't scored a point since March.
Lance Stroll has 4 10th place finishes.
That is...
I'm sure it's all 10th place, isn't
it? He is wildly underperforming.
Or has he got 2 P10s and a P9, maybe?
Maybe. But like, that car is bad. And I do understand that. And I give Lance Stroll a lot of stick.
Yeah, but Vettel has 4 times the amount of points in the same car. 16
points in the same shitbox.
Yeah.
So there comes a point where you say he's also another driver that people need to be talking about.
He's also managed to get less points than Tsunoda and Zhou Guanyu.
And that is so hard to do. And it's mental because he's probably got one of the safest seats in the whole grid.
Ooh, top 5 safest seats on the grid, right?
Yeah, 100%. No, that's it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Helmut Marko isn't Max's dad, so he's got more. Max has probably got more.
But Christian Horner might as well be.
Yeah, it's true.
He has got the bedroom, isn't he?
As I say, yeah. But yeah, so it's, you know, we're looking here. Where is Daniel Ricciardo? 19 points. Lando Norris has 76.
The one thing I will say about Daniel Ricciardo having those 19 points and being in P12 is the only driver I'd expect to not be in front of him that is Kevin Magnussen, and that's based on basically 2 races where he got an unbelievable amount of points. Other than that, I think Bottas can outperform him in a slightly slower car that obviously has had some issues, but overall is just slightly slower than McLaren. Everyone else, I think, finishes above him anyway. That's the problem there, is that he doesn't look terrible for being in, I guess it's the 4th or 5th fastest car.
It's the amount of points.
Yeah.
All of them people can be above him, as you say, that's expected. But the gap is the worry. The gap is the problem.
Yeah, and that's what I say. It's Magnussen is the only person that you wouldn't really think would be above him, apart from maybe Bottas. And he's just right there with him.
Yeah, but even if he is above Magnussen there, right? You expect him to be at least up in the 40s or something, like in touching distance.
I don't.
But I don't. Well, no, I don't. I don't think that anymore. But
that's what I mean. Is if you look at everyone that finishes above him normally,
like
what we've got now with the standings, you'd expect most of those people to finish in front of him in a race. So how does he improve from there?
He doesn't. He is now. For me,
he's just going to finish P11 or P10 in the standings, and that's
one of
just
the bottom 5 drivers on the grid. And that
I think he's just going to finish P11 or P10, and in the 5th fastest car, that's just a normal place to finish. Annoyingly, isn't it?
Yeah,
when you're the second driver,
I just think he's going to come P10 or P11, but with with a disappointing points haul, and that's where my problem comes in, because if he was coming P10 or P11, but he's 2 points off the next driver, then you go, okay, fair play, hard fought, he's just beat him. But at the end of the day, when he does come P10 or P11 by the end of the season, but he's 40, 50 points behind Alonso, who's the next person in front of him, you're kind of saying, okay.
And that's why McLaren lose the drivers, their constructors.
That's why they'll lose this position, because Fernando and Ocon finish together constantly. They love it.
I mean, I don't think Alonso loves it by any means.
Well, not today. No, he's actually probably got him fucking by the neck.
I reckon they've got boxing gloves on now.
Alonso has got his hand on his neck right now.
What was the manager? Was it what was the manager that had a scrap for subbing someone off, and they brought boxing gloves to the
Conte and Lautaro Martinez, for instance.
And they brought boxing gloves to the training.
Yeah.
That's what I think Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon do every week.
What? Just have it out.
Yeah, they just put their gloves on and fight every week.
I was hoping we'd see some more bowling today.
Well, it was gonna rain a lot, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
it didn't rain much.
I was hoping for a bit of bowling, but obviously we didn't get it. So
Right, score update. It's 0-0 still.
Oh, I forgot the Lionesses. Come on, the Lionesses. You can.
I'm gonna watch the second half. I didn't. We've taken a bit longer than I thought we were going to.
It's right. We're very much at the end now. So yeah, that's the championship standings. Really, not a lot has changed. Alpine obviously just edging out McLaren still by those 4 points. Mercedes now within 30 points of Ferrari and 90. What is that? 100? Is that 97 points behind Red Bull? Ferrari. Yeah.
Ferrari are currently 97 points off Red Bull. Mercedes are currently 127 points off Red Bull, though.
Yeah.
So Red Bull have done the double this year. We know that's a fact. There we go. Clip me.
No, it is. It's done. It is done.
They've done the double, but I do think Mercedes finish above Ferrari still. I think that's completely plausible.
It's 80 points clear at the top of the driver standings. Another thing I said is if I hear one of these stupid reaction podcasts go that it's not over or anything can happen, no, it can't.
No, it can't.
No, it can't. Shut your mouth. You're wrong. So that's Hungary. Fresh, raw reaction. The race finished now about an hour ago. At the start of this podcast, it was about, maybe an hour and a half ago.
I think it finished about 2 hours ago now, yeah.
Oh, God. Life is going too quick for me, mate.
Day's getting away from you, mate.
Yeah, 100%. So that's it in a nutshell. Over the next 3 weeks, just to give you an idea of our plans before we head into Guess the Driver, we don't have exact plans, but obviously we'll try and do one a week for the next 3 weeks until obviously we'll have on the third week will be a preview show for the Spa. And then we're going to be really busy, mate, because triple header, we're going to be doing preview shows every single week. So that's going to be a lot of work.
What does the calendar look like for this? Because I'm going on holiday and moving in the next 2 months.
Well, you're going to have to delay the moving and the holiday.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Steph.
Fourth sector comes first.
The pod's first. We've got to focus on the pod. I'm sorry.
Fine. I'll one-man it. I'm actually not joking. I'll one-man it.
So we've got the 28th. Okay.
Yeah.
28th of August. I'm not on holiday for the Dutch Grand Prix.
Okay, good.
I'm very much on holiday for the Italian Grand Prix, though.
Okay.
But
we'll either get a guest.
I still want to do it.
What, from holiday?
Yeah, it's only a Zoom call.
Yeah, true. As long as you've got like a clear mic.
I'll take my headphones. I'll take my Apple headphones.
Okay.
I'm going to do it. We're going to do it on Sunday the 11th of September.
Okay. And the 28th was the other one. You can do that one?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. So fine. I maintain my statements. We are all good. We've worked that out. We've got 3 weeks now. Well, I guess it's 2 off-week episodes, then a preview, and then we're into it. So in those 2 off-week episodes, I think we're going to dedicate one to Sebastian Vettel. Maybe we love a quiz on the fourth sector, so maybe we'll do a.
I want to quiz you again, but not as rogue as last time.
Quiz me about Sebastian Vettel's career or something. I don't know. But we'll do an episode talking about Seb and his retirement. I guess. Sure, he deserves it, and I'm sure it's what he wants.
He's gagging for it.
And then obviously we'll work something out for the other one. But yeah, so that's our plan for the next few weeks. So do stick around for that. But we aren't quite done yet today, Joe. We do have one final thing to do before I let you go and watch the second half. And I probably go and watch the second half as well. And that is Guess the Driver.
Woo-woo.
And it is my turn to guess. You are the man with the clues. And when you are ready, please fire away with your first line.
My driver was born in 1989. and his last race was Abu Dhabi 2018.
Could you tell me how old he is? Because that is just not computing
Makes
in
him
my head.
32, going on 33 this year.
Wow, 2018 Abu Dhabi. That is so random, mate. And he's 32, so he must have been shit. You can't be currently 32 and not have
Retired 4 years ago.
and not in the sport anymore, unless you are shit. So I'm gonna go for. Did you say how many starts he had?
Not yet. It's
No.
in my next clue though.
No, that's cool. If you had said that, I'd missed it, so I just wanted to check. Okay. I think I've guessed this one before, but I'm going to open with it again. I don't actually know his age. I don't know when he retired, but I think he was quite shit. So I'm going to say Sergei Sorokin.
No.
Okay.
But I will check how far off you were on that just for fun.
Yeah, I genuinely there was a lot of mitigating circumstances there.
You know, Sorokin's 26.
Fuck
now.
off,
I'm 25.
mate. And he's already had he's got a finished Formula One career. Like he's done.
He's also not racing in anything else now, I don't think.
Wow, did he just give it up? He did finish in 2018 though.
Wild. He's 26. That's wild. Anyway, I started 25 Grand Prix and scored 4 points with 7 DNFs.
So how many Grand Prix?
25.
25. See, that's a weird one because that's not one season. That's like a season and 3 races.
I think it was a shorter calendar as well.
Okay, so
in 2018.
Yeah, but it's still, that's like a season and a little bit.
Which makes you think.
So it makes me think he filled in.
He did.
At the end of a season and then did a full season and then got told to do one.
Who likes to sack their drivers?
Yeah. But no way. One season. He filled in for one. He raced for one. He's 32. His last race was 2018. 25 starts, 4 points,
7 DNFs.
7 DNFs. What the fuck?
It's a 28% DNF rate as well. That's class, isn't it? Imagine just like every third race, you just don't finish. It's normally.
Wow, that's quite hard, mate. Well, it's not for you because you know the answer, but to me, that's a hell of a, that's a roller coaster of a career. He got 4 points total.
Yes.
Who the fuck is this? So he raced 2017 to 2018.
His first entry was the 2017 United States Grand Prix.
So he filled in. Who would he filled in for? What team would need a stand-in? Wow, I'm really having trouble because I feel like I can get it from this, but I'm gonna need more time than we have.
Okay.
So
do you want me to go on to 3?
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and throw a wild guess out there that is not gonna be right. Who's like a shit one? Jean-Eric Verne.
Nah.
Obviously not.
I'm from New Zealand and I've raced alongside
Brendan Hartley.
Yeah, there we go.
Fuck's sake.
But I think all the facts were correct.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh.
That's why I said who sacks drivers.
Yeah, no, I know.
Toro Rosso.
That's why I said Jean-Eric Verne.
And it was going to be, and I've raced alongside Pierre Gasly and Daniel Kvyat.
Yeah, fuck's sake. Of course it was Brendan Hartley. Oh, I got it though. I got it.
Yeah, the streak starts again.
Streak starts again. That is, we are on a 1 streak. And I guess if we were to do a point system, 3 for getting it on the first, 2 for getting it on the second, 1 for getting it on the last, I got 1 point. Well done, me.
I mean, you're still beating Latifi.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
You're P19 in the standings, mate. P18 in the standings.
Well, Joe, thank you for joining me again for this race review. And I'm sure I'll be speaking to you, probably today, probably in a bit.
We're quite codependent, aren't we?
It's weird. To our lovely listeners, however many of you there are, we don't know. We haven't looked in a while, but hopefully there's at least one. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful week. We will see you next week where we're going to talk about Sebastian Vettel. And peace out.
Catch you later.